What we actually do is power Chicago.
That's right.
So it only made sense to come up with that name. Now, when we talk about what it is that we do, we actually represent the unionized electrical construction industry here in Chicago and Cook County.
I'm here live in Chicago at the Midwest Solar Expo, and one booth stood out more than any other, not just because it's one of the first ones that I saw when I walked through, but because of what it represents, the community that it pulls together. And that booth was called Powering Chicago. I'm here with Bert Walters III. Bert is the executive director of Powering Chicago, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what this organization means to the local community and to you, our broader renewable energy community, that deserve to know who you should work with when you come to Illinois. Bert, thank you for taking time to explain a bit more about Powering Chicago. Could you give us a sense of first of all, the history of how these two organizations came together and what Powering Chicago really represents for the electrical contractors community here in Illinois?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me start by saying and explaining exactly what Powering Chicago is. So Powering Chicago is the unique labor and management cooperation committee between the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 134, and the Electrical Contractors Association of Chicago and Cook County, where our motto and the pillars that we stand on are better construction, better careers, and better communities. And so when we talk about the electrical industry as a whole, IBW and electrical contractors here in Chicago and Cook County have been around since 1900, right? And in 2019, we did a rebranding of our name because LMCC is kind of difficult to roll off the tongue. However, it's about what we do. And what we actually do is power Chicago.
That's right.
So it only made sense to come up with that name. Now, when we talk about what it is that we do, we actually represent the unionized electrical construction industry here in Chicago and Cook County.
Okay. How many contractors are included in the overall Powering Chicago membership?
That is a great question. So Powering Chicago represents over 600 electrical contractors that are under the umbrella. These are licensed, qualified electrical contractors that are prepared to do any facet of electrical work under the electrical umbrella.
Yep.
And in addition to that, we also represent nearly 11,000, almost 12,000 electrical members that are qualified and expertly skilled and trained to install that work, service that work, and maintain that work.
Do you have any data around the total amount of renewable energy that Powering Chicago members have had their hands on?
Well, of course, we would like to have our hands on absolutely all of the renewable energy systems in Chicago and Cook County. But rest assured that the work that our members do are safe and reliable, and that's our focus.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that these electrical installations that are being installed by our members, and when the customers interact with them, they can rest assured that they're getting the best quality installations around.
Yeah. So Illinois is projected to be fully almost a gigawatt of the 2 gigawatts over the next 5 years of community solar, which as well will focus in large part because of the way that CEJA is structured on low to moderate income communities. Help us understand the value for contractors, perhaps coming outside of the state, that want to find good electrical members, good electrical contractors here in Illinois, the value of working with the apprentice programs and the unionized labor, and in so doing, partnering with Powering Chicago to power these projects?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that because, of course, with all of the incentives and programs focused on Illinois, it's become a haven for those who are in this industry for outside. And what we like to do is explain to those who are interested in investing in this technology that we have the qualified workforce that has been here. We have the reputation of being the best. We have the best training facility, I would dare say, in the United States. We invested in 2015 in a campus that has not only fixed and trackable array systems, we also invested in a battery storage facility.
Wow.
A carport for EV technologies, and all these systems are available for our apprentices to take apart, to put together, to fix, to troubleshoot. And this is to ensure that when individuals come in and they're looking at investing in Illinois, that we have the best qualified electricians and qualified contractors to do that work.
Yeah.
We have contractors that were started by being union members. So that leads to an opportunity. Our members go through a rigid and really challenging 5-year apprenticeship program. But the rewards are amazing because not only do you come out of that with a career path, but that career path provides more than one opportunity than just being a worker. You can actually go in to be a foreman and lead the crews on the ground. You can actually start your own electrical company.
Yeah.
You can become a project manager. You can actually go out and then take that knowledge that you've gained and become a person that actually sells equipment to the electrical contractors. And so we've seen members that go throughout our training program be experts in this field. And the training that they get here proves the point that they become experts not only in the construction, but also in any facet that they touch in this industry. When we talk about communities, this is one that I'm most proud of. We actually have members that come from all over the Chicago area. And the great thing about that is oftentimes they don't forget where they come from. And so we give back. One of the ways in which we give back is we have a huge philanthropic endeavor that we do called Christmas in April, where we have recently donated over 1,000 hours. We had nearly 200 electricians go out and donate a day of giving back to the communities. For instance, we donated in Inglewood, which is an underserved and underrepresented community here, and we also do one in the suburbs. So we are living the words of better construction, better careers, and better communities.
When you think back over your time as executive director, is there any story that stands out as emblematic of the kind of person that you expect that Powering Chicago as a partnership is developing to give back to this community?
You know what? There are so many examples. And one example that stands out to me is a member that came in and he shared his story with me, and I'll just share a snippet of it. But he didn't want to go to college, and his family had a pressure on him to go to college. And so he went to a junior college and picked up electrical engineering. And in talking to his instructors and teachers, he was like, well, listen, I want to be the best. Where do I go to be the best? And wherever he turned, they said IBEW Local 134.
Wow.
And so he got into the apprenticeship program. He excelled in the apprenticeship program, working for a contractor. And once he worked with the contractor, the great thing about it is a brother and sisterhood. And so what happened was he said, I want to be an electrical contractor. They took him under his wing, gave him a little bit of insight and direction, and he stepped out on his own and became an electrical contractor. Not only did he become an electrical contractor, but he became a mentor to others who wanted to follow the same footsteps. And that's really what we're about, especially when you talk about our pillars, which is better construction, better careers, and better communities. Again, it all falls under that umbrella. And I'm so happy to be the executive director of Powering Chicago because, again, I exemplify exactly what that means.
And for sure, when we think about the fact that investing in the community is done in so many ways, but none more so than spawning more entrepreneurs, more business owners. And those business owners keep tax dollars local. They keep revenue and labor dollars local, and they invest in their neighbors. They invest in the families that work for those businesses. What a testament to that third pillar of community and your preparation for not just the apprenticeship, not just the skills, but the career that evolves from it. Powering Chicago is doing great work here in Chicago and in the greater Illinois area. I encourage you to check them out if you are looking to do business, especially in renewables here in Chicago. Local 134, shout out as the best academic institution for training these bright young minds that are the future of our industry. Thank you, Bert, for everything that you guys do here at Powering Chicago.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm with Bob Hattier, the executive director of the Illinois IBEW Renewable Energy Fund. We will refer to it as the Illinois IBEW REF for much of this conversation. I'm intrigued at the process that you all have gone through to aggregate not just the talent and the skill set, but the capital to build a statewide program for workforce development. Could you tell us more about how the IBEW Renewable Energy Fund came to be?
So this all began with the passage of the Future Energy Jobs Act, or FEJA, in Illinois. So very progressive energy bill that opened up community solar and statewide incentives and great things. But the most important part was that there was opportunities for workforce development programs to be funded through the state. So we applied for and received one of those grants for the craft apprenticeship program. And with that, IBEW Local 134 only works in Cook County. So to operate statewide like the grant is detailed to do, we had to form a separate 501c3 nonprofit and to operate statewide. The way we have that statewide reach is that we have partnered with all 17 IBEW locals in the state. So we're reaching every corner of the state. Beyond that, we have a total of 32 training partners. So the 17 IBEW locals, we have 5 high schools, we have 4 community colleges, and we have several community-based organizations operating statewide.
And how much capital was infused into the program from the beginning?
It was initially a $3 million grant for 3 years. Now, that changed when there was a change with the passage of the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act.
Yep.
So that extended that time out another year. And then after that, this all came under the scope of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. So we had to go through and do a second round of funding application. We did that in May of 2021.
Yeah.
So we are now in our third year of that program.
Fantastic. And help us understand how this program is really helping build a renewable energy workforce here in Illinois.
This is going to be several-fold, the way I talk about this. The main thing is outreach. We do career exploration events all across the state. We're reaching high school students. We're reaching career change, displaced workers. We're reaching returning citizens, alumni of foster care. We're attracting more women to the industry. All of our programs, our partner high schools, are all in environmental justice communities, and we choose our partners based on the communities they are already serving.
Yeah.
We didn't need to reinvent any wheels here. We already have networks of institutions that are working with populations, and we can just offer another opportunity through there.
Bob, is there anything that you feel is a great story that is emblematic of the work that Illinois IBEW Renewable Energy Fund has been able to accomplish, a success story or an alumnus that you're particularly proud of?
Well, I don't think I can narrow it down to just one. So I'll talk about a program.
Sure.
So in response to COVID, now we had a lot of our programs were through high schools. In 2020, those programs were all disrupted, right? You know, people remote learning. We all know what we went through here.
Yeah.
And we felt like those students, those cohorts, we had 4 high school partners at the time, and we felt like they did not have the opportunity that the previous cohorts had. They didn't get the same training. So after they graduated, we formed a new program called Summer Solar. So we brought them into our union hall now, and now since they are graduates, we're now paying them a stipend, a transportation voucher to be there. We did a 2-week intensive boot camp on the solar training that they missed. More importantly than that, is this led directly into a pre-apprenticeship opportunity with IBEW Local 134. And they went a week at our school for all the safety training. And the following Monday, they were out to work.
Amazing.
So when we run that program, everyone has a job waiting for them. That was in response to COVID. We continued that and we grew it each year. This past year in 2023, we had 81 people come through that program. So that was 81 jobs waiting for them on the other end of this. And we were able to not only have our partner high schools, we were able to loop in Chicago Women in Trades, Cook County Department of Corrections, several other organizations, our community college partners into there. Every one of them went through the 2 weeks of training with us, 1 week at the school, and they all went to work the following Monday. We are right now planning our 2024 cohort. And we're looking at a similar number, it might be a little bit less, 75, but we have even more community groups represented now.
What a fascinating testament to the ability to take the funds that are offered and funnel them into the community so that you can build on the trade, the capital staying here local, and reinforcing that community and the brotherhood within the electrical trade so that these young people have a career they can look forward to, not just a bolt-on training from high school, but something that they can hit the ground running and immediately begin earning income. If folks in other jurisdictions, other states, were inspired by the work that you guys are doing, how could they learn more about what you're doing or get in touch with you to be able to try to get this going somewhere else?
Yeah, the easiest way would be to go to our website, which is ibewref.org. Our social media handles are the same. We do constant updates about all of our different programs that are happening, but they can always reach out to me. We have a lot of lessons learned. Running a statewide workforce development program for 6 years, there's been some lessons learned that we could share to help people avoid some of the pitfalls we found. But no, absolutely, we're definitely out for networking, looking for new partners, looking for ways that we can expand these opportunities.
Absolutely. If you're looking to do something like this in your state or jurisdiction, please feel free to reach out to Executive Director of the Illinois IBEW Renewable Energy Fund, Bob Hattier. Bob, thanks for taking time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
To better understand a full spectrum of exactly how Powering Chicago is partnering here in Chicago and the broader area with the electrical contractors, you have to understand all of the organizations, not just Powering Chicago, not just the Illinois IBEW Renewable Energy Fund, but also the Electrical Contractors Association of Chicago and Cook County. The executive director of the Electrical Contractors Association of Chicago and Cook County is Mark Thomas. Mark, it's great to have a chance to chat with you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for having us. As you said, we're the Electrical Contractors Association of Chicago and Cook County. We also are known as the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Chicago and Cook County chapter.
Okay.
And we represent the contractors that are signatory to local IBW Local 134 in Chicago and Cook County.
Could you give us a sense of the number of contractors in your membership
Sure.
and the licensing required, the expertise and capabilities that are embodied in the NECA chapter of Chicago and Cook County?
Yes, sir. So we represent approximately 600 contractors. They're signatory in Chicago and Cook County. Of that, we have about 80, 85 that are official members of ECA, but we represent all 600 of
Okay.
those contractors.
Yeah.
They are by far I would say, the best trained, the best qualified, all licensed contractors, bonded contractors. We
Yeah.
have bonding requirements that they have to adhere to. And they employ approximately 12,000 field electricians. Okay, that's electricians, apprentices, journeyman foreman, general foreman, all the way through. But on top of that, they have office staff, right? So there's another 7,000 people in the offices of these companies. And those companies range in size from 5 people to 500 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got the whole gamut. They cover every segment of electrical work that's in the area,
Yeah.
including the solar segment. Solar is electrical work.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we do. Solar creates electricity.
Yeah.
That's why you need qualified people to do the installs and qualified contractors that stand behind those individuals that are doing the installs.
Yeah. Mark, I know that you guys have a world-class facility for training your electrical contractors and training the apprentices that go to work with the contractors that you represent. What are some of the core skills that you believe are essential for the renewable energy field that you all are training your apprentices and that your contractors are experts in?
So if you go down to our school in Allsep, we like to say that this is the Harvard of apprenticeships.
Yeah.
And it is no kidding, it is that good. Our school has been updated throughout the years. We have a full solar arrays there. We have EV charging there. We have battery storage there. And this is not something that's new to our training programs.
Right.
We've been doing this for 25, 30 years, right? It may be new to a lot of the people coming in now, but it's not something new to our contractors. So on top of the field personnel that are trained, our office staff, our project managers, our estimators, they get training through ECA.
Yeah.
For all those other skills, right, that aren't just field related to installs, but to back up all that and support all that field installation there, to make sure that you get the best installation, that you get the highest quality, and the number one safety installation that you can find.
Yeah.
Right.
What sort of collaboration exists at a national level to help support each individual chapter as you develop the workforce programs here, as you go after more and more opportunity within each sector, namely renewables? What sort of national support do you find?
So, like I said, for our association, we cover Chicago, Cook County, but the NECA network is nationwide. There are 118 chapters within NECA, just like our chapter.
Yeah.
And we network with them. I just sent an email just before we started to one of my cohorts in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Right? Because we had a contractor looking to go do some work there. Who can they partner with? So our contractors have that network of nearly 4,000 contractors across the country that do all the electrical work across the nation, whether it's the largest football stadium or the next house that's done, all the solar work, like I said, all the renewable work that's out there. And we have that connection through NECA, through the National Electrical Contractors Association, to help our customers feel confident that it's not just here, but any place they want to get that work done.
Fabulous. You mentioned that this is the management side of the partnership. What does that mean in practical terms?
Oh, it means the world. Our relationship here with IBW Local 134, ECA being the Electrical Contractors Association, is unsurpassed any place in the country. I say that with complete confidence. And I've worked across the country with NECA before. There's no place like our relationship in Chicago. Do we always agree on everything? No, we do not. That's just part of the nature of what we do. But we get things done. We never walk away from the table. My partner, Don Finn, who's the business manager at Local 134, we talk almost on a daily basis. And we try to make sure that we are getting, that our contractors are doing the work and that his members are on those jobs. And we want every job that's out there. I will never hide from that fact, right?
Yeah.
Because we think we deliver the best quality.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very simple. Do you want the quality to get your project done right the first time? Right? Or do you want to call us back and have us come and do some rework that you didn't have done right the first time? Call us the first time.
I appreciate getting the additional insight into how these organizations do they truly form a partnership under the umbrella that Powering Chicago is helping to progress and truly power the electrical renaissance that we're seeing with the renewed infrastructure that renewables is fostering. Thank you.
It's a great time to be in the electrical industry. There's great opportunities. And Powering Chicago is an example of how we work together.
Thank you for taking the time to tune in. I hope that you also have more questions. If you'd like us to answer those questions, you should also be following Powering Chicago on YouTube. They're answering all of your burning questions. They have fantastic content on YouTube and LinkedIn. I would encourage you to look in the description below, follow Mark and Bob and Bert so you can learn more. If you want to do business in Illinois, start with Powering Chicago. Thank you, Mark, for taking the time to be with us.
Greatly appreciate the time. Thank you very much. It's
Absolutely.
a pleasure.
And thank you for tuning in.